In the name of His Son, it's your brother Elisha, right here in the house of the faith. And I kind of truly blessing each and every single time that I'm coming for you to preach once again. And I just want to deal with the pagan origins, very briefly, with the pagan origins of Christian, not just pagan, Christian, Christian holidays, but this so-called Christian holiday, Valentine's Day. Okay, because it was incorporated into the Catholic Church, a day dedicated to Saint Valentine. But now let's look at the origins of it. And this is the book I'll be reading from, the Pagan Origins of Christian Holidays. Okay. And this is on page 21, because when we think about Valentine's Day, you know, you got everybody think about romance and love and marriage and you know, simps all around the world buying gifts, spending all their little money, sitting about. They start that mess when you in school. Will you be my Valentine? But people don't really know where that comes from. Peace to you, peace to everybody that's listening. Good to see you there, brother Leo. Reality is that this is not what you should be doing. And a lot of times we don't have a clue as to where things come from. I'll give you a prime example of what I'm talking about. You got a lot of, I see it all the time. A lot of brothers and even sisters will put the heart on something, right? When they like it, but not realizing what the heart actually, I'm talking about the heart, this symbol here. They don't realize what that is. Most people don't realize that that's a sexual, represents the lips of a woman. If you go look it up if you don't believe me, it represents the breast or the butt or the vagina. That's what that represents. So when people putting that on stuff, they don't realize what they doing. They take pictures, they put hearts all over stuff, not realizing that that's a sexual symbol. Okay, so just like this, we good for doing something and observing something like Valentine's Day, like Christmas and Easter, and having no idea of where it comes from. Okay, but now this is in chapter 3 of this book, The Pagan Origins of Christian Holidays. This is chapter 3, Valentine's Day, Remnant of Dark Love. Page 21. It is likely that Valentine's Day, a day that is associated with love and romance, was birthed out of the ancient Roman feast Lupercalia. This feast was in Rome and it took place between February 13th and February 15th. Lupercalia was celebrated annually in honor of Lupercus, Pan, and Juno. Let's see. The day February 15th was called Dies Probiatus, the day of expiation or purification. In the month Februarius was known as the month of purification. This festival of Lupercalia was officiated by the Luperci. The Luperci was a minor college divided into 2 colleges. Okay, I'm gonna skip down a little bit. The priests of Luperci would come together in the cave. To legend, the founders of Rome, Romulus and Remus, were nursed as infants by a lupa or a she-wolf. Uh-oh, man. So that's why you will see. So I'm gonna read that again. During the festival, it says, according to legend, the founders of Rome, Romulus and Remus, were nursed as infants by a lupa or a she-wolf. That's why you see those images of. That's why you see those images of Romulus and Remus. They are sucking the teats of a wolf. That's where that comes from. I don't know if you've seen that, but that's just where that comes from. Give me 1 second. I have a picture of it. I might not have that right now, but let me keep reading. Luperci sacrificed, and listen to what they did in honor of this. The Luperci sacrificed animals known for their strong sexual instincts, such as goats, the Luperco, and dogs. Faunus, to the god of fertility. 2 sons of noble distinction were then chosen and anointed with a bloody sacrificial knife upon their foreheads. Milk soaked wool was then wiped on the young boys, at which time they began to laugh. Subsequently, the goats were cut into thongs. These are strips. That's what I mean by thongs. Were called fubria. And the boys ran throughout the city, scantily covered with goat hides. striking women with the thongs. Okay, that's what they did. So they basically dipped these strips, and they go around smacking the women with them, laughing with hardly any clothes. Ovid offered 4 reasons for the boy's nakedness. The Greek god Pan himself runs naked. The primitive Arcadians who worship Pan did not wear clothes. The Roman god Faunus dislikes clothes because of sexual contretemps caused when Hercules and Omphale exchanged clothes. At a feast for Faunus, Romulus and Remus and their followers were exercising in the nude when they had to rush off, still undressed in pursuit of cattle rustlers. So that's why I said they had any clothes on. But it was, I'm still on page 22. It was believed that such a strike would aid in conception and childbirth. So this is fertility. Okay. Thus, women of rank received these lashes willingly. So they wanted to be hit with these stripes. Because especially instead of praying to the Most High, no, smack me with this strip. This strip of a goat dipped in some milk or blood, and so I'm gonna get pregnant. An allusion to this custom is found in Shakespeare's The Tragedy of Julius Caesar. Caesar says Calpurnia. Calpurnia replies, "Here, my lord, Caesar, stand you directly in Antonius' way when he doth run his course." Antonius, Caesar, my lord, that's what Antonius says. Caesar says, "Forget not in your speed, Antonius, to touch Calpurnia, for our elders say the barren touched in this holy chase shake off their sterile curse." Okay, so when you were reading that in high school, understand that you were reading about, more than likely, about the origins of Valentine's Day. Page 23. It should be noted that it was during this feast in 44 BC that Julius Caesar was offered the crown 3 times by Mark Antony, who was the high priest of the Luperci. So, and he wouldn't take it. So here's a picture of that, him not taking the crown. Okay, when he was offered it by Mark Antony. Later, the Romans began a licentious love lottery in which young men drew the names of young women from an urn. The two were paired together and became sexual partners for a period of time. The lovers' lottery was also very popular during medieval England. So they had a love lottery. See, all this is pagan. Secular festivals, Lupercalia was given. Hold on. Let me see 1 second. Okay. Like many secular festivals, Lupercalia was given a Christian cloth. Galasius the first replaced the licentious pagan. What's going on? Give me 1 second. Okay, I'm gonna be done in a second. In 496, Pope Galasius I replaced the licentious pagan Lupercalia with a festival in honor of the martyr Valentine. However, there is debate concerning exactly which Saint Valentine Galasius was referring to. There was Valentine of Interrama, modern day tonight Italy. However, the most popular candidate was a bishop in Rome during the reign of Claudius. During his reign, Claudius the Cruel engaged Rome in many bloody military campaigns. He viewed marriage as a hindrance to military victory and banned the religious sacrament. According to legend, Bishop of Valentine of Rome continued to perform marriages and as a consequence was beheaded by Claudius. In some versions of the legend, during his imprisonment, Valentine converted members of his jailer's family to Christianity, and prior to his execution sent a farewell letter to the jailer's daughter that was signed, "From your Valentine." Galasius made Valentine the patron saint of love and chose the date of his death, February 14th. Understand what this is, as the day to commemorate his life. Over time, the Lupercalia was replaced with St. Valentine's Day. Eventually, it became customary for lovers to exchange gifts and messages on this day, just like through legend he did, okay? However, the sexual wanton behavior that occurred during the ancient Lupercalia festival still persists within the current celebration of Valentine's Day. And I want to read one thing from the Bible, brothers and sisters. This is in John. So that's where this day more than likely derives from. This is John, the Gospel according to John, chapter 4. Just make up some stuff and bring it in, and you're gonna put your stamp on it. He's a saint. What do you if anything, if you don't know anything, one thing you should know, you can't trust these Catholic priests. One thing they love to do, love to molest children. John the 4th chapter and verse 22. It's amazing that you call yourself a Christian, but you say you believe in the word, but why are you circumventing the days that are given in the word, in Torah, to observe, but then you're going to bring in some other days? Like I said, the pagan origin of Christian holidays. Easter, Christmas, Sunday worship, January 1st, they took that day. Carnival, Lent, Trinity Sunday, Christmas, Corpus Christi, Halloween even. They even deal with that. The season of Advent, Epiphany, feast in honor of the Queen of Heaven. All that's in Christianity, mainly through Catholicism. But he says something here. This is John the 4th chapter and verse 22. He says this to the woman at the well. He says, "Ye worship, ye know not what." We know what we worship, for salvation is of the Jews. What does that mean? In other words, if you want salvation, you have to do what they were doing, what was given unto Israel. He says, Paul says, "What advantage doth have the Jew? It says, what profit is there circumcision?" He says, "Much chief in every way, for unto them were committed the oracles of God." So the oracles of God, what the Most High wants us to do, he gave to Israel. So if you want salvation, if you want to know what pleases him, how you going to come with your own thing? Valentine's Day is your own thing. So I say, "Ye worship, you know not what." We know what we worship, for salvation is of the Jews. Then he said, "But the hour cometh, and the now is, when the true worshipers shall worship the Father in spirit and in truth. For the Father's any kind of way." Okay? We shouldn't be engaged in this paganism. He said, "God is a spirit, and they that worship him must worship him in spirit and in truth." So if you're going to worship him, you got to worship him according to the truth. Okay? So just like he didn't die Good Friday and rise Easter Sunday, that is a lie. Don't deal with Easter. He wasn't born on December 25th. That is a lie. Don't deal with it. How you gonna accept a day that's dealing in paganism, that's surrounded by false worship and false gods, when he said, "Had no other gods before me"? I know they don't have a clue, because we love to be ignorant. See, it's not, I wrote this in a book, but you could pick up an encyclopedia, or you could pull up an encyclopedia on your phone, or you could say, what is Valentine's Day? Or what is a heart? Because people get on here and put hearts, and I don't think they don't realize what that actually is. So even in dealing in the scriptures, people who are of the faith, even we have some things that we need to shed, not realizing where they come from or the origins of a thing. And with that, brothers and sisters, I want to remind you, we at the House of Faith meet every Sabbath at 5925 West 25th Avenue in Gary, Indiana at 1 p.m. Central Standard Time. That's every Sabbath at 5925 West 25th Avenue in Gary, Indiana at 1 p.m. Central Standard Time. We live stream right here on the Israel Teach YouTube channel, as well as at www.israelteach.org. If you've been edified through the ministry, you can leave a donation on our website, www.theministry. In addition, brothers and sisters, we have a Bible study tonight at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time on Zoom, zoom.us. So if you would like to, you can just look in the description of this video, and you will see information about the personal meeting ID. You put that in, and you can fellowship with us right there. Brother Sanders said, "Are the pastors, regardless of what denomination, read and understand the Bible, still choose to do wrong for money?" Yes, absolutely. I'll read one thing. Yes, absolutely. It's about money. So in Isaiah, the 56th chapter, he says something here. "They are all dumb dogs. They cannot bark, sleeping, lying down, loving to slumber." I mean, Isaiah the 56th chapter and verse 10. His watchmen are blind, they are all ignorant, they are all dumb dogs. They cannot bark, sleeping, lying down, loving to slumber. They are all greedy dogs which can never have enough. Okay, so they can't have enough, meaning they want more and more money, more and more money. One more place, Micah, and then I'm done. Micah, the 3rd chapter. Yeah, it's about money. He says, Micah the prophet says something about Jerusalem in verse 9, Micah 3 and 9. He said, hear this, I pray you, ye heads of the house of Jacob and princes of the house of Israel, that abhor judgment and pervert all equity, meaning you hate it. He said, they build up Zion with blood and Jerusalem with iniquity. The heads thereof judge for war, and the priests thereof teach for hire, and the prophets thereof buy for money. Yet will they lean upon the Lord and say, is not the Lord among us? None evil can come upon us. Okay, so that's what they're about. They're about money. Okay, that's all they're about. They're all about money. So that's just a couple things on that. With that, brothers and sisters, it's always my prayer that you are edified.